So what I've got here is an older piece of waxed oil leather. This has been taken out of a lounge suite that's been recovered, and as you can see, there's the original colour along here, and here's how it's faded. So it looks like the dye has virtually gone as well, which is very common with waxed oil leathers. So what I thought I'd do is just do this section in here, leave the rest of it so that we can see what it looks like when we finish the treatment. So with the waxed oil leather here, it's not going to bring back the faded dye, but it is going to help to even out the colour. So and it will also soften the leather and darken it down a little as well. So I'll show you how that's done. Okay, so the first step is we take the waxed oil leather cleaner, pour it directly into the sponge. We've got two sponges in the kit, one's for the cleaner and the other's for the conditioning oil, and just give it a wipe over. In your case with your leather lounge suite, you're doing one panel at a time. As you can see, it's soaked straight in there, which is fine. With the leather cleaner, it does have a very small amount of conditioning oil in there, so it's sort of pre-oiling it before you get to the next second stage, so it's going to help for the next process. And what I'm doing here is, while it's still wet, I'm wiping it away with a clean microfiber cloth and just let it dry naturally. So we'll let that dry and we'll come back once it's done that. When you're doing your leather cleaning, I usually have a clean bucket of water beside me, and I regularly rinse out the sponge, the microfiber cloth, wring them both out, both as dry as I can, and it's absolutely amazing how much dirt actually ends up in that bucket of water and stops me from spreading it all over my job. So there you go, there's a good tip for you. Rightio, so it's dried off now, and as you can see, it's already improved it quite a bit. That's just the small amount of oil that was in that leather cleaner. It's just dropped it in there. It's not going to bring it back right back to the original, but it certainly made a difference compared to these areas here. So our next step now is to use the conditioning oil, give it a bit of a shake, and as you'll see, there's two sponges in the kit. The first one's for the cleaner, the second one is for the conditioner. And what I'm going to do now is to spread it on liberally. In your case, you'll be doing one panel at a time, nice and thick, even it out, and just let it go. So what we'll do now is just let that sit overnight. If you feel you need another application, you can actually leave it for 4 or 5 hours and then apply a second layer of conditioning oil and let that sit overnight, and that's going to give it a really good chance to soak in and do its job. So this will help to soften the leather, it'll help to even out the colour and darken it down a little. And so what we'll do now is we'll just leave that, let it sit overnight, and see what it looks like tomorrow morning. Over and out. Right, so here we are the next day, and as you can see, the oil has gone right in there. In fact, it's got a bit of a waxy haze over there, which is quite normal. And what's happened is the oil's dropped in and just a wax residue is sitting on the top. So what I do next is just give it a light buff with like a t-shirt or something like a soft cloth, and it just takes the wax off. So now we've got a nice even sheen on there. And for the final step, all we do now is take the wax finish, give that a bit of a shake, and with the cloth provided in the kit, just pour that into the cloth and just wipe it on. So it's very simple. This is going to give a nice waxy, silky, buttery sort of feel, and it's going to make the leather feel warmer again. So we'll let that dry. So what we'll do next is I'll cut away and come back and it's dried off, and we'll have another look at it. Rightio, so it's all dried out. For best results, I'd leave this for a couple of hours before I did anything else with it. So put the wax finish on there, leave it for a couple of hours, and then the final step is just to give it a light buff with your soft t-shirt or cloth, and that'll just take any residue off the top, and now I've got the nice slick silky feel again. So yeah, it's come up pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. There still must have been a bit of dye in there, because if it had no dye and it was completely burned out, that would be more of a grey sort of a colour. I mean, it's not gone back to original like this here, but it's still a heck of an improvement. So the areas that you're really not going to get a lot of improvement are areas like on the outside back, you know, where it's been in the sun and it's baked and it's gone white. The reason for that is the wax is baked on so hard that nothing's going to penetrate it. So those sort of areas you're probably not going to get a lot of improvement on there. But for, you know, for other areas like this, for example, I mean, that's quite good. I'll be pretty happy with that. So so there you have it, folks. Over and out.